Welcome, friends, to the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour with your hosts, Sig Bisley and Colt Mauser. Before we get started, please be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let the animation appreciation commence.
Do we have a treat in store for you today? We're going to take a little vacation today.
You're the king of oversell.
No, we have a treat. It's a legitimate treat.
Sure.
I'm just saying. We're going to take a little trip to Jesus Town.
We are going to go to Jesus Town. The man is not wrong.
And we're going to perform a little mechanical violation.
Yes. No, this is not a show about hentai.
It does sound like a porno, right?
It does.
Mechanical violator.
It may have the same effect on you that porn does, but
it's going to make you
for different reasons.
It's going to make you feel real happy.
I mean, probably. All right, before we get into all that,
unless you're some kind of psychopath.
Let's talk about the news.
Yeah, let's just do the news first.
The news.
That's what we always do.
That's what we do.
Let's get into it.
Not as much this week. So
slow news week.
Yeah, not much going on. That's all right. It's all right.
No news is good news.
When you hear this first bit of news, you're going to agree.
No live action fucking remakes this week.
Oh, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So
thank God.
Yeah. The first thing is they've apparently Titan Comics, whoever the hell that is,
never heard of him,
is doing
maybe I should have, but I haven't.
A comic book adaptation of Cowboy Bebop, the live action Cowboy Bebop.
Man, it's literally the gift that keeps on giving.
And the first cover
won't stop.
Looks terrible. It's
sure
like old man Spike and Super Karen freaking Faye.
My mom Faye.
It's just, the artist is excellent. He's captured very well what a complete fucking shit show.
Somebody needs to make a meme of her pushing a grocery cart. Because that's how I picture her.
It's not going to be good.
No,
it's just not going to be good. There's no need for this to exist. For the love of God, couldn't you have just done a manga? Oh my God.
The more they talk about it,
I'm looking at all the covers they've posted, and they just, each one makes me want to vomit more than the last.
I know. Just ignore it. It'll go away on its own.
No, it's total garbage. I don't care. Regardless, two terrible things have come together, sir. American comic books, modern American comic books, and Netflix adaptations.
Oh my God.
Boom!
It's like a tsunami of doom.
It's a I don't know. It's like woke cubed. Like, I don't even know.
It's a mystery machine is what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking terrible.
Yep.
Anyway,
100%.
I advise you, if you actually go and Google these covers, just don't do it on a full stomach. They're bad.
It's terrible.
Anyway,
give me some better news.
No. How about I give you more news about live action Cowboy Bebop?
That's what I deserve.
Oh, it's not going to be a full remake. It's going to have original stories.
I already knew that.
Gee, yeah. I wonder how woke those stories might get.
Oh yeah, no, they keep every week they release a little bit more and it gets more horrible.
How the fuck are you going to adapt a 26 episode anime into a 10 episode, Netflix thing? Even if you made it an hour an episode, it's just not going to work.
No, they don't care. They're just
it's just also garbage. Also, when you cut out an entire character, because I still ain't seen Ed or anything that resembles Ed, which makes no sense because that's the exact character you think you would have.
Like, if anyone is like,
they don't know how to deal with a tomboy
or whatever the fucking
shit. Except Ed is very clear about being a girl.
Yes.
And
remember tomboys? Remember how everybody loved that tomboy back in the day?
There's no such thing as tomboys, sir.
Shut up.
Everybody's trans
It's
now.
real. I've seen
no
it.
tomboys.
It's like ghosts. I swear to God.
It is like ghosts now. Yeah, not real. Tomboys are not a real thing anymore. Hilarious. They're not allowed. So yeah, I can't wait to see all these great original stories they're going to come up with. Considering Shinichiro Watanabe has been involved in this series. Not at all.
He sounded sad about it too. He's like, I gave him notes, but they're probably not going to listen to him.
You know what? At this point, I want to go rewatch Samurai Champloo because as much as I didn't love it at the time, And I know that's kind of a hot take because a lot of people love it. I bet you now I'll be like, this is a fucking masterpiece.
It was like weird. It was like a letdown after Cowboy Bebop.
It's hard to follow.
And it didn't really have an ending. It didn't even have a story. It just kind of existed.
Play some baseball, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like nothing really happened. I don't know. I'm not big on those nothing really happened
series. Although I do love Space Dandy, so I can't really.
Yeah, but Space Dandy had like a tight story at the end. Like, it was legit.
Yeah, as much as it was not a tight story. We'll talk about Space Dandy at some point because it's very good.
It tied it up tight at the end.
It's very good, yeah. Anyway, look forward to all these great original stories Netflix writers are going to tell you in the Cowboy Bebop universe. They're just going to be fucking great.
I can imagine.
Don't worry about it. They'll handle them just fantastic. Just
as good as they're going to handle One Piece. Handled. That is a trash fire. The Cowboy Bebop one I won't touch with a 60,000-foot pole.
I'm sorry.
But I at least want to see an episode of the One Piece one because I want to see what the fuck they're going to do.
One Piece is truly unadaptable. I don't know why you would even try.
I don't get it.
It works in animated form. Great. It works in manga form. Great. You could write a book about it. That would work too. You cannot do live action One Piece and have it make any sense.
I feel like it's just going to be Kamala versus Orange Man on boats.
If you did it, you'd have to do it super artsy style and not have people have half of their powers. You'd have to almost turn it into a regular pirate thing with just... You'd have to change it up entirely is my point. You'd have to go like Escaflowne movie versus Escaflowne series on it. And probably even a little harder. And if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go watch Escaflowne.
And then watch the movie.
Yeah.
Watch specifically... Oh, it's like every anime movie where that like first 2 minutes is like
it's a blood dumpster.
Amazing. Like, yeah. Where it just like drops out of the sky and blades everybody.
It is not the same character at all that he was before.
Oh, yeah. And then the princess is like weird and slutty for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, back to the news.
Now I don't have terrible news.
Thank God.
I have kind of interesting news. So apparently we're going to get some sort of entry in the Blackrock shooter franchise. You remember that shit?
Yeah, I do.
From back in the day?
Wow.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, the visual here looks real fucking cool.
I barely do. That's crazy.
It looks like a bike that's trying to be the Nolan Batmobile. I mean, but it's cool. It looks cool.
Wow, you just brought back memories. I haven't heard about that shit.
Neither have I, but apparently we're getting something new. So this is what I love about Japan, man. They will revive shit 10, 20, 30 years later, and not like American style, like let's just remake the same thing again for no reason. No, it'll be
just
like
picks up where it left off.
Something new, or it's something new, or it's...
It really is great because nothing is ever 100% dead, and I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, how long did it take them to poop out Full Metal Panic and it's not even done? Yeah, what was it, like fucking 10, 15 years between, like...
How many times have we seen different iterations of Mazinger Z? And they're all pretty good. Like,
never stop.
Use the same ideas, but make it happen. Like, so much better.
So much better.
So much better. Anyway, look forward to that. There's not a lot of details out yet, but... hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go rewatch the old ones again because...
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, I don't barely even remember them at all.
Yeah,
so.
I'm into that.
I like it. See, now I'm excited to go back and watch some old stuff in anticipation for some new stuff.
All right, so now to be slightly sad and maybe slightly happy.
Well, I don't know how to
So
feel.
Unfortunately, you can't use this as intended, but I'm sure you could find a use. So
I'm sure I could.
So would you like to be stylish? Would you like to be as stylish as they are in Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah, I would.
Because boy, do I have the hairspray for you.
Yes. Thank God.
Sir, it has the strongest hair holding power. I would hope you know. It is the most powerful. So in the land of Japan where, you know, everything is merchandise straight to hell, which is the way you're supposed to do it.
God damn it. Capitalism.
We got some Jujutsu Kaisen hairspray. So
unfortunately, like yourself, I'm completely fucking bald. So.
Enjoy. Hey, you know, it happens.
I could use that on my giant beard.
This is my point. You could use it off label. So, you know, no you can't sue if something terrible happens, but
well, I can use it to like comb my mustache to the side so I don't get beard
when
suds.
you hairspray your face and then you forget and light like a cigar and your whole beard goes up, it's not their fault.
I've lit my beard on fire so many times. Yeah, well, I think with hairspray it would finish me off though.
Yeah. So maybe don't do that. Maybe don't, you know, import some of this.
I'll buy it for a friend with hair.
Regardless, just a wacky product news. I thought that was good.
It's like Hello Kitty style, where it's just like Hello Kitty everything.
In my roaming of the 2 anime news sites that exist that are worth a damn.
It's true.
Someday I'll learn moon runes, and then I'll get the news straight from the source.
I know some of them, but not enough to read.
Yeah, same. All right, so Life-Size Gundam, the moving one, very cool. Apparently, it's moving off of some wind power, so it's kind of cool, I guess. Got wind powered Gundam. I mean, they should put giant sails on it. I think that would be a lot cooler.
I was just gonna say it's like some G Gundam shit.
I mean, I think they're missing an opportunity here. I mean, I really think it should be a nuclear powered death machine like it is.
Yeah,
and that would be even better. But they're just people, and we have the nuclear reactors that we can make small enough to do it now. But yeah, regulations.
They have.
Especially in Japan, they're a little skittish about nuclear power for some reason. Can't remember quite exactly why.
They're really not. They have more nukes than like any country ever because they
do, but they were all built before that happened. So
that's true. There's a company in Texas that makes nuclear fusion reactors, right? That's what we got now, fusion reactors. Or do we have fission? For God's sakes, tell me if I'm right or not.
Nuclear fission?
What do we have now? It's fission, right? Okay, yeah. Because it's like slamming them together, not breaking them apart, correct?
No, it's breaking them apart. We have fission. They're working on fusion. That's fusing them together.
Got it. Oh, yeah, fusion. I'm so dumb.
Come on, man. Get it together.
Sadly dumb. Anyway, there's a company in Texas that makes tiny reactors like the size of a fucking
hot tub.
I think that might be down to a refrigerator now because the hot tubs ones were like 10 years ago.
Regardless, I think those will fit in a Gundam.
That will fit in the ass of a Gundam, the end. So we're there. They're even as dangerous as
you would think it'd be on the backpack, but in the original Gundam, it's like on the sides next to you because it's in the core fighter. Just don't question it.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like the place you'd want to put nuclear reactors.
The whole core
right
fighter,
next to the pilot.
The whole core fighter thing's dumb anyway.
Core fighter thing is fucking awesome, and you shut your mouth.
Core fighter's stupid. Go down.
We'll settle this later, ladies and gentlemen.
It's legendary battle of core fighter versus not core fighter.
Core fighter is the best. Turning into a stupid, ugly plane. Like another series we're going to talk about today is not as cool.
I suppose.
All right. So, in other news.
It's more news.
China's acting like China.
That's what they do.
So they're
hoarding all the chips so I can't buy anything.
No. In this case, they're banning all the Boys Love games. Which
they are cracking down on unmanliness in a big way.
Yeah, they're just that's what they're doing. So.
I respect that a little, but at the same time, you have to have
name a more iconic combo than China and banning things.
It's true.
I mean, it'll probably Streisand affect itself and become more popular. They don't really understand how this stuff really works, but what are you gonna do?
I don't want to speak too soon, but I think China's very fucked.
Yeah, well,
a lot of shit unraveling there.
We'll keep the politics out of this.
No, but my stonks.
Out of this podcast.
My stonks.
But yeah, there's some things going on at the time of recording that's very interesting. Anyway. Oh yeah, and by the way, they've warned that companies that don't comply will be severely punished. Like, yeah, when China says that, I actually believe them. And I believe severe punishment is a real thing.
Are they going to get stern paddling?
If by stern paddling you mean,
loaded up on train cars and sent to like concentration camps? I'm pretty sure that's what I meant.
I mean, if by that you mean accidentally shoot themselves twice in the back of the head, you might be right.
No, man, there's too many of them. They got to put them in train cars, re-educate them.
And bullets are expensive. All right. Last bit of news in what may be one of the dumber lawsuits I've ever seen.
Whoa, that's saying something.
It's pretty dumb. 2 Good Smile employees are suing the company, ex-employees, are suing the company because they claim that the merchandise they sell is illicit because it's of naked, underage people. Grant you, none of these people are real. So what age they say they are in an anime, I mean...
I declare that figure
we're
is
not going to get into that discussion.
35-year-old woman that has progeria.
I get the arguments on both sides of that. I'm not taking a side on that one. I kind of don't care. But suing for that because allegedly that created a hostile work environment, even though they're doing it in California, I don't even think that's just going to fly in California because it's really dumb.
Yeah, it's weird.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think imaginary things should stay imaginary.
Yeah. And it's dumb. Like, butthurt former employees are mad that company they work for sells the thing that they've been selling for like 20 plus years.
Kind of their fucking game.
I mean,
why'd you even take the job there?
I know. Like, what good. This seems like post hoc. Like, oh, ex post facto, whatever. Like after the fact, I got fired, so now this is my way to like get back at the company. I mean, it seems very frivolous.
It happens
to me.
kind of all the time.
I doubt I'll ever see a follow up on this, but I'd be very curious to see what the hell happens. Because I'm assuming they're going to get tossed out on their ass.
If it's a slow news week, you'll hear about it.
Yeah, it's a really stupid lawsuit. Listen, I may not be a practicing lawyer, but I did go to school for that, and this is a fucking stupid lawsuit.
Boom.
It has no real basis, in fact.
Nah.
Or no basis in law, I should say. Anyway.
There's like tons of frivolous suits going around right now.
Yeah, well, there always are.
They always get tossed.
This one's just very silly. Anyway, that's all I got for the news today, so I think we can move on.
We're going to move on to Get Into Gundam number 3.
Oh, yes. We're still talking about Gundam.
And now we're getting into the good shit.
Hey, I would argue we've already talked about a lot of good shit.
No, it's all good shit, but we're getting into like the
good shit.
One
thing we're going to talk about today isn't the good shit, but we'll get there.
I was specifically talking about 0083 and Zeta.
Yes.
Isn't that where we're at?
I'm also talking about Zeta, but the other thing from Zeta.
That shit-ass movie.
Yeah.
Fair
movie enough. Trilogy. So, 0083. So, let's talk about 0083. So, last time we talked about, 2 episodes ago, we talked about original Gundam and Origin in the movies, the movie trilogy that sums it up. Last time we talked about all the various OVAs, 08th MS Team and 0080 and Thunderbolt and all the stuff that exists around original Gundam.
Yeah.
This time we're going to leap forward. We're going to talk about 0083. We're going to talk about Zeta, talk about the Zeta movies. We might talk about Double Zeta. We might save Double Zeta. We'll see where we get.
I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Yeah, exactly.
But we might.
We'll see where we get.
There's always next
So anyway,
week.
0083, it gap bridges. So original series, 0079, right? So this is all timelined. Ends in 0080, right? It ends in the year 80, quote unquote, right?
Correct.
Universal Century. 0083 is, you guessed it, in the year 83 of the Universal Century.
Yeah, it's very self-explanatory.
And it's got new mobile suits, pretty cool designs, new Gundams, right, that were made
minty green gems
after the war. It starts to get into that really dank, like Anaheim Electronics, which is the main company that makes Gundams now. How like, they become a big thing later on. So this is like the origins of Anaheim Electronics and how like they're basically always supplying weapons to everybody.
Yeah, they play both sides of every conflict and make a shit ton of money, like every good corporation.
Yes, exactly. You get like the remnants of Zeon here. You start to see the shadow of that.
Yep.
The shadow of Axis, which is the kind of Zeon in exile from the original series, the ones that have decided to flee because they're a little more militant than the ones that decide to stay in the Earth sphere. So these, they basically were given a whole asteroid and fucked off back towards the asteroid belt because the Earth had pulled in a bunch of asteroids to mine. Anyway, to make colonies, because obviously it's a lot easier to mine from space to build colonies than it would be to shoot stuff up the gravity well from Earth into space, because raw material is a lot harder to get.
Well, and there's probably just not enough shit on Earth. Like, colonies are huge, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we have it enough, but I mean, God, could you imagine all the rocket fuel you would need to get that shit up there?
Yeah. And you'd have like...
And this is before, they don't have space elevators yet or anything at this time in Gundam, so none of that.
That is true.
Anyway, 083 is about a test pilot. That's what I'm looking for.
Always about a test pilot, baby.
A lot of times about so this is an actual test pilot. So instead of just being some kid, he's a little older. He's in his early 20s or maybe 19, but I think he's in his early 20s. Named Ko Rocky. And he, by happenstance, so he's not even supposed to be the test pilot of Gundam, but the actual test pilot gets killed on a Zeon attack on the base when they go in to steal one of the Gundams. So there's 2 test Gundams. There's the GPO-1, GPO-2. One of them gets stolen. And, the main test pilot gets killed. A bunch of people get killed. And then there's a new white base style ship, which is like the ship in the original series, the Albion. And they go after it. So they go pursue Ana Delgado, which is the Nightmare of Solomon.
Are you seeing a pattern here?
Yes.
With like Zeon trying to steal mobile suits? Similar
to 0080 in that regard, except this picks up right away with them pursuing the Zeon, right?
Yes.
Because these are the remnants of Zeon at this point, not the whole... a war isn't going on right now, right? It's peacetime.
This is just shenanigans.
Remnants of Zeon are now stirring up trouble. So they go after him, follow him on Earth. He escapes into space. They follow him into space. And the Gundam he stole is armed with a nuclear warhead.
Yeah, that's like the big rub.
The big thing. They're just terrified of what the hell is he going to do with that nuke. I mean, it's only one nuke, and in the world of Gundam, one nuke, you can only do so much with one nuke.
In the land of Gundam, when you could drop an entire colony on a planet,
where half the world's
isn't that big a deal, but it's
40 billion people got killed, in the 2 week or 1 week war, 3 years, 4 years before.
Exactly.
You would think this isn't anything, but they're terrified of what the hell he's going to do with that nuke.
He'd do anything.
So anyway, you get to see a good arc with Ko getting better at his job.
Yeah.
Getting better at, he's got terrible taste in women because the main love interest, Nina, is just...
Nina Purple Nurple.
She's Purpleton. She's just a... Not my favorite.
She's a biznatch.
Gundam love interest, and there's a lot of bad Gundam love interest, but she's a pretty bad one.
She's not best girl by
No, she is not even close to best girl. I mean, she's not the devil or anything, but what's her face? Her friend, the mechanic. The big Amazon woman is way cooler than she is.
The giant Amazon mechanic.
Way cooler than she is.
Who's Ko's homie there that ends up with her?
Keith.
Keith, yeah.
Based
Keith.
So you get to see some really cool mobile suit designs.
Some good ones.
And it's it's that in between original series and Zeta designs. And this this show came out after Zeta was out, but you get to see that the transition. You also get to see like a little bit politically in the background, kind of like the side story. You get to see why what happens in Zeta happens. So spoiler alert for what we're going to talk about Zeta. Zeta flips, right? So in the original series, the Earth Federation are the good guys, even though they're not the best. They're the good guys.
Yeah,
Xeon are the bad guys.
They're the protagonist.
It flips a bit in Zeta where the Earth Federation, they're kind of off to the side, but a portion of them are the Titans, and they're the bad guys.
They're like hardcore.
And then there's it's the Anti-Earth Union group, the AU. They're not Xeon, but they're like
they're against Titans, basically.
Yeah, they're basically what the fuck is that? Like not mercenaries, but like rebels almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
They have more of a ragtag
informal
approach. It's not like giant fleets versus giant fleets anymore. And you start to see this in Gundam, and one of the good things I love is the consistency is you really start to see like the effect of all these wars going on and all these battles, and like they get smaller and smaller and
smaller. It
smaller.
is funny. Like that's the one thing that's consistent in the UC like universe. Like everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like the farther in the timeline you get, because they just keep grinding through fucking people. Yeah, because
you keep running into wars, and you keep losing personnel and
losing personnel is just like less money to develop stuff.
All that stuff.
Economies get smaller.
And like less mobiles, everything. Well, actually more mobile suits than ever because Bandai's got to sell toys, and they all look cool as shit. Nothing is more egregious. We probably won't talk about Double Zeta this week, but I don't think anything's more egregious than Double Zeta. There's like fucking mobile suits every other week. It's freaking ridiculous. But anyway, 003, it's good. 13 episodes, really good animation, made about the same time as 0080 and 08th MS Team.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a little earlier than 08th MS Team, but fantastic animation, good, pretty tight story. It's some people's favorites. Like story-wise, some of the characters grate a little bit. Like I said, Nina's a little grating, and
Nina's supposed to be annoying though.
She is, and Ko can be annoying at times too, because he's a little overly whiny at times early. He becomes awesome later. Like he's
just an annoying child.
It does have some cool shit, like the GPO3 Dendrobium is freaking awesome.
It is fucking amazing.
Giant refrigerator of missiles and guns.
So funny.
That thing's awesome. Like. And you get to see some origin stuff. So, this is like the thing we talked about a couple weeks ago where, do you watch it in, year order or in like original airing order? I think you're better served by watching it when the shows came out. Because
probably.
Though this is a good place to start, this is an excellent series to start with if you just want to start cold. I do think that it's better enjoyed if you've seen the original series and you've seen Zeta. Like when I first saw it, I hadn't seen Zeta. And once I saw Zeta and then watched this again, I was like, oh,
That's where the Titans
This
come
makes
from.
a lot of sense, right? Like, oh, and that guy, and Bascom, who shows up in this, like, oh, that motherfucker, I hate that guy.
Yeah, it does.
He's
make
one
a
of the
lot more
main guys
sense.
in Zeta, but he shows up here at the end as a Fedi pilot. Not pilot, but captain.
Yep.
Ship captain. So yeah, a good show. Highly recommended.
One of my faves, actually.
All right, so after that we get to
That rolls right into Zeta,
Gundam.
which is probably the pinnacle of UC Gundam until you get to the brand new stuff, which is really good so far.
Like Unicorn and Hathaway and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. I really like Zeta.
It's also the pinnacle of autism.
It is the pinnacle of the most autistic.
Camille
Gundam
is
pilot.
the most autistic Gundam pilot
in a
ever.
completely unironic kind of way. Like not.
Oh no, he's like straight autistic.
He is. Yeah, the boy is on the spectrum for sure. He's an interesting main character. He's not Amuro. Amuro's was a little more immature, a little younger in some ways, but also a little more mature in other ways, right?
Yeah.
But a little more of a whiny brat, whereas Camille, he's got a little bit of that, but he's got more reason to be.
He's a fucking savage.
Well, I mean, they do kill his parents in like episode 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yes.
Like, it's freaking awful. It also has one of the, what can I say? One of the most chumps.
I was just
in the
gonna say
history of chumps.
you have to be talking about Jared.
Jared. Oh yeah. The man who gets every girlfriend he ever had killed by Camille, the main character.
Basically, he makes fun of Camille's name, and it seals his fate
Forever. Like, he is permanently cursed the second he makes fun of Camille's name in that first episode.
Because
It is over.
Throughout the series, Camille manages to kill every single one of his love interests.
Pretty much. So, minor spoiler alert. If somebody's like with Jared, don't expect him to last very long.
Pretty much.
Expect Jared to last a long time, though. That motherfucker don't go away.
No. He's got lasting power.
Zeta Gundam is, like I said before, you get to see the rot in the Federation, how they've become complacent after the 1 Year War, how there's a radical element in them now called the Titans that are the main bad guys, and how even they mistreat people. Like, they show Bright, the captain from the first series, the eternal captain, as you will find out, because he's in every fucking show.
Damn right.
The captain of the original White Base, and he's going to be the captain of the Argama in this series, which is the main battleship they have. He gets mistreated. He's like a shuttle pilot. He's a nobody. He should be one of the biggest heroes of the 1 Year War, and he's treated like a nobody.
Pretty much.
Right? So he says, fuck all y'all, you're the worst. I'm going to go join up with the AUG.
Yep.
Right? So the AUG starts picking people up, and now the AUG starts with Quattro Bagina, totally not Char.
Nope.
Not a spoiler at all, because it is so fucking obvious from the first episode.
It's Char wearing a shirtless,
A sleeveless-
a sleeveless shirt and
He's
sunglasses.
got some guns now.
Yeah, he's
and
got mad
sunglasses.
guns.
He's still got the scar on his face from fighting Amuro at the end of the original series. He's got the sunglasses. He's got the same hair. He's got the same voice actor.
Fucking no one questions it
so
forever,
obvious.
too. It's so
He
funny.
gets the stink eye immediately from fucking Bright when he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's like Bright, Amuro. Like, they all
Amuro,
immediately.
the second he meets... So Amuro does show up later in the show. The second he meets Amuro, I was like, Char, god damn it.
Yeah, right.
Not you.
But everybody else is like, what?
Yeah, who
I
is
don't
this
get
guy?
it.
And Camille obviously would know who he is right away. But anyway, it starts off with Char. So they're, the whole thing is the Titans are creating new Gundams, right? And, this is before all the OVAs, so there's not as much like, oh, there's 8 trillion Gundams in between the original series and now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really like, oh, there's new Gundams. That's crazy. And they have these 3 test units, and they're like they call them Black Gundams. They're like a dark blue. They're really cool looking. The Mark II. Well, I say the Mark II because the 2 Titans ones get lost or blown up or whatever. I think one becomes a parts one. It becomes the main mobile suit because it gets captured by Camille captures one of them, gives it to the AUG.
All because they made fun of his name.
All because they made fun of his name. He's literally some other guy who's like a Titans like commandant or something, like punched him or slapped him and mistreated him a little bit. And he's like literally gets in the damn thing after Jared falls into a building with it because he's a dumbass. Camille gets into the goddamn Gundam and is trying to stomp the guy out. He's literally like walking at him in a mobile suit trying to stomp him out.
Camille's a psychopath.
Camille is a little bit of a psychopath.
Which makes him a great main character.
Good thing he has Fa there, his childhood friend and eventual love interest, to help him.
Yeah,
right?
Fa's like his moral compass.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, let's just talk some highlights. This is like a 40-something episode or maybe up to 50 episode show, so we
Yeah, it's
can't
like
go
a-
through the whole plot. A lot of stuff happens. Eventually, the Zeon remnants show up for like the third act of the whole show, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Freaking Haman Khan and
Haman Khan.
and Maneva Zabi, who escaped at the end of the original series. So there was a Zabi left, who were the villains of the original Gundam. Yeah, I mean, the mobile suit designs. Oh my god, the mobile suit designs
Some of the best, man.
are so good. The Hyakushiki may be the sexiest mobile suit ever designed.
It's my favorite. It's my
It's
favorite
so
mobile
good.
suit ever.
It's gold as fuck.
It's Nagano.
It's just awesome.
If you don't know who Mamoru Nagano is,
Yeah,
he
look him
did 5-Star Stories, a bunch of other stuff. But he's mostly like a designer. And every single mech he designs is fucking gold.
They're not always gold, but he does like a gold mech.
Percent of the time. Like if he has his druthers, if he can do whatever
Yeah.
he wants, they're fucking
You're
gold.
not wrong.
And he does the Shiki, and it's fucking
Shiki is so sexy.
so nice.
The Mark II is a good design. The Zeta is a cool design because it's very, like the Mark II is very Gundam. It looks like a Gundam, right? It just looks like an updated Gundam.
Zeta's a fatty.
The
It's
Zeta
thick.
is
It's a thick boy.
it's a different design. Well, you're used to seeing those damn bumpers in Double Zeta where it's the fattest fat boy. It's not that fat most of the time.
No,
this.
isn't that the
No, that's
doesn't
the
it have?
Zeta.
Yeah, it's the Zeta, but doesn't it have like extra shit on it?
No, it's just the Zeta. It's carrying the high mega launcher.
Ah, yeah.
That
okay.
big blue gun it has.
They just the way they draw it in those bumpers is so chubby.
They make it very wide. I don't know why. And why the hell it's in every bumper for a Double Zeta, I can't tell you because
They barely.
it's Double Zeta. Shouldn't the Double Zeta be in the bump? Whatever. We won't get into that. We'll
It
get a
doesn't
Double Zeta
matter.
some other time. Anyway, series great. Mobile suit designs are awesome. The villains are great. Paptimus Shirako is an awesome villain.
Oh my god, he's like an evil cult leader.
Oh, evil cult leader, totally. Such an asshole. You get Jamai Khan. He's like the political old man, Mr. Burns political guy who's an asshole.
You got the Prudus.
Is that Jamai Khan? Yeah. Oh, no, that's Jamatov. Sorry, not Jamai Khan. Jamatov is who I'm thinking of. And
Yes.
there's a lot of freaking characters. That's one thing. There are a lot of
tons and
characters.
tons.
It can get tough at times. You get Chump Jared, who's a Titans pilot.
You got the Prudus. You got Psycho Gundam.
No Purus. No Purus.
Oh, what's his face?
That's
by
Double
Psycho
Zeta.
Gundam. Sorry.
You're thinking of crazy ass Rosamia.
Rosamia.
And what's her face?
I just think
4.
she's a Prudu, but she.
You get 4 in Rosamia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're going forward in time to Unicorn, where
Sorry, they're all.
what's her face in the Kshatriya is a Peru.
Yes.
All this shit in Gundam ties together, people.
I know.
It gets real complicated
It
sometimes.
turns to soup in my sad old brain.
The thing is, don't worry about it. You just watch it and enjoy it, and you know what? You can look stuff up later. You can tie the stuff together later. You'll probably watch it more than once if you really enjoy it, and then that's how you enjoy it more, because now you're tying more things together. But it goes back and forth from Earth to space. Amuro shows up at some point. Freaking Kai shows up, one of the other pilots
Yeah,
in the
he's
original
like
series. He's a reporter.
He's like a. Is he wearing like a ridiculous?
He's a ridiculous, like not Indiana Jones, more romancing the stone outfit.
Yes, it is a Romancing the Stone outfit.
Right?
If you don't know what Romancing the Stone is, look it up.
Oh God, crazy. But yeah, it's a great show. I like it. A lot of people don't like it. Oh, and hold on, one more thing.
Who
One
the
more
fuck doesn't
guy.
like Zeta? It's
You
like
know.
the pinnacle of Gundam.
A lot of people don't like it because it is a little dark. It's really dark.
Yeah,
There's
but
not a lot of levity.
Fucking Gundam is dark.
Yeah, fair. But the original show felt like it had a little more hope. Zeta is like, especially the ending too. Jesus Christ.
Dank.
I mean, they don't go killing everybody, but they kill a lot of people, and it gets. Tamino was off his meds.
That's classic Tamino, man.
And what's his name? Yazan. How can I forget my boy Yazan?
The greatest fucking character.
Yazan's one of the greatest trolls.
in all of Gundam.
Perhaps the greatest non-new type pilot in all of Gundam.
Yeah,
That man is impossible to kill.
Firelamp pilot and Unicorn.
Gotta be Yazan, right?
It's gotta be.
Gotta be Yazan. That's my theory. We'll get to that when we get to Unicorn.
Damn right.
Anyway, great show. Check it out. It's long. There is a movie trilogy.
Don't speak its name.
Unfortunately, it's worth a watch once if you really like Gundam. It's
if you watch the series, don't bother. It's like
yeah. Well, I would say if you really like the series, watch the movie trilogy just to watch it because there's some really nice, cool new animation.
yeah.
But the story gets all horked up Like it's really
They
not
cut out a
compressed
lot
very
of
well.
cool stuff.
They cut out way too much cool stuff. They cut out Shard saying, "I'm here to laugh at you," for Christ's sake.
Which is one of the best things.
One of the
ever.
best lines ever.
One of the greatest
I
memes
came here
in
to
meme
laugh
history.
at you, right? Yeah, if you ever seen that meme online, I came here to laugh at you. That's from Zeta Gundam.
That's reason enough to watch it.
Yeah. So the movies, Tomino did them way later. They were done in like 2015.
Yeah, they're like
They
very
were like way
new.
later. They have newer animation in parts.
But they put this weird like
it's not blended very well.
no, but they put that weird like filter over it to make it
yeah,
look
there's
like
a weird
crusty.
grain filter to make it look like.
And
the
if you have
series.
like, I had just bought a new 4K TV before we watched them, and it just looks like fucking shit.
it looks so
Like-
much worse than the Blu-ray of Zeta.
Yeah,
like-
the Blu-ray of Zeta they cleaned up
Looks
super
pretty
nice.
good.
Looks
It's not
money.
It doesn't look. I don't think it's as cleaned up as the Blu-ray of Gundam was. Maybe that's a film versus videotape thing.
I think the Gundam movies cleaned up are probably the nicest.
Yeah, they're
I've
probably
seen
the
for old
nicest.
Gundam.
Yeah.
Oh man, they look good.
They're pretty. Well, I mean, yeah, some of the animation is what it is, but yeah, they're pretty. Anyway, the movies, the Zeta movies, a new translation. The new animation is cool. They changed the story a lot. They move stuff around. They cut stuff out, as you said. They also changed the ending, like entirely. Like it can't. Unlike the first movie trilogy, that you could kind of debate whether that's canon or the original series.
Yeah, it's a little bit,
and it's not
different, but
not that big a deal.
not that big a deal.
Between the two, you could kind of take either. You can't with this. If the story went down this way, you could not even have Double Zeta Gundam.
It's true.
And I don't even know if you've had Char's counterattack. Like I don't think any of that would have happened. Like the rest of the UC couldn't exist
It's true.
at this point, right?
It's
Maybe
super
by the time
weird.
you get to Victory, or F91. So yeah, I don't recommend that movie trilogy. I really don't.
Nah.
Like I said,
I was not better off for watching it.
it's like Igloo last week. Like check it out if you just want to get in on all things Gundam. You want to check everything out, but for UC stuff especially, just dump it way near the bottom of your list.
Yeah, definitely.
So the series, fortunately, the series is a lot better. Unfortunately, the series is a lot longer. So you are gonna have to buckle down and watch the series if you really want to get the story.
You ain't got shit to do.
And yeah, I don't really think we have time for Double Zeta. So next week we will pick up with Double Zeta and Char's counterattack, and it's probably all we'll be able to get through next week. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's a
Unicorn,
lot.
but that's probably it.
Especially Char's counterattack. There's a lot of meat there to.
There's a lot of things to discuss with Char's counterattack. And there's a lot of things to discuss with Zeta. I got a lot of thoughts about Zeta. Or Double Zeta, I should say. So anyway, that's our deep dive into Gundam for today. I believe you have a topic you wanted to rant a little bit about.
Okay, so I was dicking around, reading some stuff on the interwebs, maybe a month ago. I can't really remember. But I came across this article. There was about, the gist of it was like rethinking the hero's journey for modern times. And when you when you hear from modern times, it's always terrible, right? I mean, alarm bells go off. That just means it's awful. So anyway, if you're not familiar with the hero's journey, it's basically the blueprint to everything you enjoy, more or less.
It's the original Star Wars.
Yeah, like every single story, I forget the guy's name. I should have looked it up first.
Joseph Campbell.
Oh, was it Joseph Campbell? See, your giant brain's good for
The Hero with
something.
1,000 Faces.
Yeah, it's basically Joseph Campbell wrote this paper ages ago about how
I have the book. I haven't read the whole thing yet.
yeah, humans
I read it
basically
back in,
enjoy
college.
a couple kinds of story, a set amount of stories, and this is the blueprint to for universal appeal, basically.
Yeah, it's literally Star Wars. The original Star Wars is the hero's journey. Like Luke Skywalker's journey in the original Star Wars is the hero's journey.
Yeah, fucking.
And if
to
you
a T.
extend it out through the original trilogy, that's the hero's journey. If you extend it out to the sequel trilogy, you already fucked up. Don't do that.
So anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with the entire thing, but it was basically your stock. Why would we have a hero's journey when we could just make the character Mary Sue that blames everything on white people? That was the gist of the article, 100%. So anyway, it got me to thinking on how basically every useless diversity hire in Hollywood has adapted to this Mary Sue that's great at everything and is completely unrelatable to any real person. But Japan basically, they've doubled down on it. Because in the late 90s, early 2000s, shit got kind of edgelord.
Yeah, I mean,
Like they did.
Shonen was always Shonen, but you're
yeah,
not wrong.
like a lot of stuff got kind of edgelord. You know, you had these weird, unlikable characters,
overly nihilistic.
Yeah, like super nihilistic. You'd watch a whole show and it would just like end in like the worst way.
And some of that could be translation bias. Like that was the shit they thought the U.S. would like. So you got it over here, and there could have been other stuff. You know, it's hard.
Maybe
to
in
judge.
some of them, but
Yeah,
there was
it's harder
some
to
stuff
judge.
where I'm positive it was just bad. Like,
Oh no, I know it was, but I think my point is, they could have been rolling with some of the more classic stuff over in Japan, and you just didn't get it over here.
that's true.
Apart from Shonen, because Shonen's always going to show.
And I'm not saying they
and
were
Shonen stuff is almost always classic hero's journey.
Yeah. But I'm not saying like everything was like that, but like I watched a lot of fucking anime back then. And you know, it started falling off a little bit. But then as American stuff started to fall off, like it seemed like in the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, they've fucking like doubled down hard. Like every single like thing that's come out that's super popular, like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, fucking what was that thing I was just talking about? I always forget the name of it. Black Clover.
Yep.
All that stuff that's like been big in the last few years. I mean, I can name literally all of them. It's all gone back to like classic hero's journey, like super like universal tropes that like everyone enjoys. And I like Japan has a way of like taking other people's stuff and distilling it down to its like absolute essence, right? I mean, they do that with everything, like autistic detail.
And like I said, I've said a lot, is it's more about, it's like Shonen stuff, right? It's about the execution, it's about the characters, because a lot of the stories, it's going to be tropes, it's going to be repeats, it's going to be the same pattern.
Well, like
But the pattern is so solid that as long as you have good window dressing around that,
oh yeah, they've distilled it down to perfection.
that's what makes the show good.
Take basically Black Clover
Yep.
and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yep.
Like when I watched like
Both heroes' journey.
I watched a ton of Black Clover, and then when Jujutsu Kaisen came out, I was like, oh man, this is the same fucking thing. But then I watched the first episode and I was like, god damn, hooked. And they get me every time.
Yeah.
And like if you take all the characters away and just describe to somebody what both those shows are about, basically the same
It's the
thing.
same with One Piece. It's the same with Naruto.
No,
It's the
but
same
like
with Bleach.
Oh yeah, those two especially though. It's like, oh, like part of me is possessed by a demon, blah blah blah. I gotta
Demon
deal with-
Slayer.
I gotta like talk this exactly. I gotta talk this demon into like helping me out because we kind of want the same
Yep.
thing. Blah blah blah. You know, it's the same fucking thing, but like they've distilled it down to a point where it's just like I can't say no. Like if it's written well, it's just fucking good.
It's because
like, I can't stop.
Just because the bones are the same, the bones are good. And it shows you what really matters. Like, it's not necessarily about the plot itself being, you know, so unique and cool and edgy or whatever. You can dress it up differently. And it's like how there's 5 songs, right? That old saying, right?
Oh yeah, it's
There's
so
only
true.
like 5 songs. It's the same idea. It's the same idea.
But it's like, why would you take? I mean, these things are obvious things.
Why would you fuck with the baseline formula?
Yeah, it just amazes me. And like every time they do it, I'm like, and what's interesting too, like they have like the perfect, like they could just keep doing like Shonen trash forever and I would buy it because it's always good. It always has all that solid shit I love, relatable characters, blah, blah, blah. But they also have, they'll bust like an Attack on Titan out of their ass where it's like something crazy that no one's like, I mean, I'm sure it copies some stuff, but it's like kind of out of nowhere.
But that's a smart subversion, right? Because it's hero's journey and then a flip from turning the hero to the villain.
Yeah, but they do it so well.
But it's smart. And that's a trope too. That's been done a
million times.
Everything's been done. There's only so many stories. But you can recombine things in such a way that it's still interesting and it still hooks you. And by using a tried and true formula that has worked for thousands of years.
Since Greek and Roman times, kids.
It works. And it works for a fucking reason.
Yeah, for everything.
Because
I keep expecting to not like it.
Storytelling serves an evolutionary purpose.
It's always good.
I'm not an evolutionary biologist, right?
But it's true, yeah.
It serves an evolutionary purpose. And the reason we like the stories, and we usually like stories in similar, that do work in similar ways and have similar patterns, is because that is actually evolutionarily beneficial.
Absolutely.
Right? You learn something of value from those stories.
Which is why when you get to like all this, like everything made in America in the last 5 years, it's like, you know what?
Way too much of it.
No, you know what the best fucking thing is? Mulan.
They fucked
me
up
and
that
my
new
sister
Mulan.
used to watch. My sister was obsessed with that when we were kids.
Yeah,
like
it's a good movie.
And I used to like I'd watch it with her, right? And the whole fucking thing was about like she's taking her dad's place to like fight, so she like joins the army. She's pretending to be a boy, and she has to fucking like work so hard and fucking kill herself just to be a mediocre enough like
Warrior.
soldier just to
soldier.
get by. Like she could barely keep up with the dudes.
And then she can eventually do something heroic because she is so goddamn tenacious and she has her own skills.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then in the fucking garbage live action one they did, she was just, not only was she a bullshit Kung Fu Mary Sue, but like the reason where she wasn't awesome the whole time was basically the patriarchy.
It's never her fault. Yeah.
It's
terrible.
like you're the most hollow, shitty
That's not a
character that like
character.
literally no one can identify
Well,
with.
think about this. As a human, again, evolutionarily, right? As a human, what are you going to learn from watching somebody who is just automatically the best at everything without any struggle? What kind of story is that?
Why do you think Kira Yamato sucked? That's right. I'm going to go seed on your ass.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever, fuck you. I just typed
Just
fast.
automatically the best at everything.
Like
right?
such a miserable
Such a
con-
Mary Sue. And
God, I hated that show.
that show wasn't as egregious as something like Mulan, the new Mulan.
No, not at all.
At all, because there is some
it was
adversity
just-
there, but nowhere near the same.
And
nowhere near the same.
There's a lot of seed that's good. I'm not completely shitting on it, but man, I hated Kira.
I
They were
can
cool.
understand
There
why.
are tons of cool side characters, blah, blah, blah. You know. Like,
Hiro Yui is a better main character than him, and Hiro Yui,
so true.
sorry, hot take here, also not a great main character.
No. But anyway.
Gundam Wing works because a lot of the other Gundam kids are way cooler than Hiro is. Anyway,
Gundam, the terrorists.
it is Gundam the Terrorists.
Whatever. But anyway.
We'll get there eventually.
I found it fascinating that like they've gone so far as to try to subvert the hero's journey, even though it's been proven over thousands of years that that's what people want.
It's because people
like,
are talented.
That's what people enjoy.
It's being written by talentless hacks.
Yeah, it's just sad it's gone that far.
They just don't understand. They don't understand that you could get in all the things you want to get in there, all the diversity and whatever else you want to get in there. You can do that.
They've also been doing
And
that
still-
for 100 years.
Yes,
yeah.
and still make it a hero's journey.
Absolutely.
Right. Animation's been doing that, but I mean, look at like Shazam. That was the thing at the time, right? It was like, look at Shazam, and then look at this, and then people say, well, but that was a white kid that was the main character. Yeah, but look at the whole family, and they all had the powers, and it was great. It worked. Like, it's dumb.
Sham was probably aside from Joker, is probably the best thing DC's done.
From a movie standpoint,
For just a solidly written movie.
agreed. I mean, it's between those two and like the new Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah, that was also good. That was like barely good though. That was like bootstraps. Shazam was like written well. Like that was an
Yes.
excellent movie.
I
it
don't
had
disagree.
everything that like an old Disney movie had. You know what I mean? Like
We're not gonna get into a review of Shazam, but yeah, I agree with you that by trying to do something other than the classic hero's journey and we're talking about genre stuff here, right? Like we're not talking about, deep art house pieces or certain, there's valid ways to do things.
there's
that aren't
other
the hero's
kinds of
journeys.
stories, 100%. But for your standard fare,
For what you're trying to do for standard, pulp, and it is pulp entertainment and pulp sci-fi and fantasy, whatever else.
Yep.
Stick to the motherfucking hero's journey. And you can subvert a little bit. You can attack a Titan a little bit. You can do some different stuff there. But don't completely change the formula. Don't have the main character be awesome. It's my problem with everything Sword Art Online after the first one.
oh yeah, where
And
it's
I'm
just
not saying I
"We're all the
dislike them
best."
and think they're terrible, because I don't. I think I like a lot of Sword Art Online, but like the first series is great. I think it's great, right?
My
Because
only bitch about is it ushered in video game isekai.
yeah, but I can't
so hard.
blame the originator of something for that.
I know.
And it's not technically not the originator of that at all, but it was the popularizer of that.
Oh my
right?
god, it was just a flood after
I
that.
get it, but because I mean, fuck, Tron exists, right? So when you go way back,
You know what's funny? I never thought of that.
It's
but
a
you're
thing.
100% right.
right? But he had the hero's journey in the first season.
Oh, 100%.
Well, it was the first arc in I don't remember what it was called, but the first game he was stuck in, because the first season also has the second game, which is not as interesting. But
Yeah.
it had that arc. It had that hero's journey arc.
Yep.
Yeah, he was better than you would. But I mean, was he any better than someone like fucking Paul Atreides is in Dune, who's all of a sudden awesome at everything? Like, but there's a hero's journey there. There's suffering, there's sorrow. And
He
gets
trained
his ass
hard,
kicked,
man.
And there's a lot of training, right? So
Those Fremen
get
beat
that.
his
But my
ass.
point is, you can have someone that is extremely good. It's not like your main character has to be struggle and always be the underdog. It's just that there has to be some level of that in there. You know, the villain has to actually be better than your damn character to be a threat to the character. If you Captain Marvel that shit and the villain just gets slapped around every 5 seconds, it's not interesting. It's not interesting.
Nope, it's certainly
Unless you're going for comedy. Again, unless you're doing a completely different genre and you're going for comedy, and then maybe it can work.
Anyway, base Japan has it distilled down to science, a delicious spirit, and America just keeps, I don't know, shitting their pants.
That's because Japan still hires on merit and retains on sales.
Mm-hmm.
And America does not.
Wah, wah, wah.
We're going to get back there. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, fuck all that, because it's time to go to Jesus Town.
It is time to go to Jesus Town. Because, boy, do we got to talk about the tokusatsu classic. I'm going to call it a classic. And I'll fight anybody who says it isn't.
We're going to prove it's a
Mechanical-
classic right now.
Mechanical Violator Hakaider.
Is there Hero's Journey in there?
Anti-hero's journey, maybe. Kind of. It's a very short movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's struggles.
I feel like he is the hero at the end.
He is the hero in this story. For sure he is the hero in this story.
Well, I mean, obviously, but there isn't like a solid... I don't know if anybody's really a good guy in this one.
Just because you're not the good guy doesn't mean you're not the hero, right?
Oh, he's definitely the
It's
hero.
a classic anti-hero.
He's the main character.
Classic anti-hero, right? So, what the hell is Hakaider? So, if anybody knows anything
what the
about-
hell is Hokkaider? Sorry, I always say Hokkaider.
I don't know. You really want to know
Hokkaider.
to be in there.
No, I've been doing that for years. Like every time I mention, I'm like Hokkaider. Like
We
there
used
must
to watch
be
it when we were
something.
drunk a lot. I don't know.
There must be something else that's like.
You just
ho
like them
something.
hoes. I don't know what to tell you.
It's Hokkaider.
Haha, jokes. All right,
Hakaider.
the Mechanical Violator. So if anybody knows anything about back in the day tokusatsu or even some anime,
Modern Tokusatsu.
I was almost going to say Cyborg 009, and then my brain went, "You're an idiot." We're talking about Kakaider.
Yes.
So Kakaider, back in the 70s, tokusatsu show, had a couple seasons, couple different series, whatever. I haven't watched them, but I've seen clips, right? I don't even know if you can get it over here, to tell you the truth. I'm sure with the internet anything is
Kakaider?
possible. Kakaider. The original 70s tokusatsu Kakaider.
I have like one of the not newer, but like
The animated
kinda
stuff
newer
you can
ones.
get.
Yeah.
The animated stuff is out there. And they did a newer movie, too.
I'm gonna go fucking scour the internet.
And you remember they
tomorrow.
did a newer movie because when we were watching Kamen Rider Gaim, they did a weird crossover with Kakaider. And
Oh,
friggin'
yeah.
Hakaider was in that Gaim
Yes.
with his crazy, like, brain head version.
Yeah, Brainhead.
Which was the original version. Right? So Hakaider was a villain in the original Kakaider. And he was a very popular villain. And Kakaider's just a cyborg. It's like a future-looking cyborg. He's, like, bluish-green on one side, red on the other. Sometimes he's just straight blue. Sometimes he's green. It's like a greenish blue.
Whatever.
and a red. Right? And he's the main character. And Hakaider is the all-black cyborg with yellow accents, gold accents, whatever. And, like, a weird brain thing that you can see in the top. And in this, you only see that near the end as like a shining through thing. He normally just looks like he's got a black helmet on.
Yeah.
Anyway, classic tokusatsu. Guys in ridiculous, foam costumes.
Oh yeah, it's so bad.
Silly special effects, fucking fireworks everywhere. More fucking P90s than an SG team could ever dream of.
Didn't a guy get his arm blown off and they just stick
Yes.
they just stick a sparkler in the end of
Yes,
it?
that happens at some point. Don't worry about it.
So good.
Heads getting blown off, crushed. Anyway, he's a cyborg. There's this like team of treasure hunters.
Yeah, it's like these
looters,
weird treasure
scavengers.
hunters, and then they roll up into this like, oh my
Bunker.
god, the matte paintings. Like it is from 1995, so they have like the special effects budget is like less than my allowance
It's
was back
$1.50.
then.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's like so bad. They don't even use like CG doesn't really exist. They
There's
use
some really bad CG.
They
times,
use like
but
these
yeah.
really. I mean, they're good matte paintings. Like if you don't know what a
They're
matte
not
painting,
composited well.
No, if you don't know what a matte painting is, like all the backgrounds in Star Wars, basically,
Yeah.
they just like put up giant plates of glass and they paint a background on it.
And then they overlay the film on it or film through it, or you know, they
It's
do
actually
different
fucking
techniques.
amazing if you've ever seen one in person.
The skill is crazy to make these things.
Yeah, it's wild.
They didn't composite them very well. The
The
whatever they did
paintings are
fell,
amazing, but they're like wicked fantasy style.
and it's not stitched together well,
and it doesn't
They
look
shimmer.
real at
It's-
all. Yeah,
It's like if you see bad green screening, it's kind of like
it's
that.
so bizarre. But anyway, they show a shot of that, and then these like treasure hunters go into this like
It's a bunker. It's like an underground bunker.
crazy castle bunker thing, and then they're looking for treasure, and they have like all these like crappy like it's like PVC pipe with shit taped to it. Like
Oh, one
metal
of them is just a
detectors.
straight up metal detector.
Yeah, like metal
Doesn't operate like a metal detector, but it's a metal detector.
Oh, excuse me.
And they go and pull open the vault in this bunker, and there's just a dude sitting there in a
Yeah.
leather jacket.
Oh no, he's not just sitting there with a leather jacket. He
And he's
has like
chained.
800 pounds of chains on
Yes.
him, and they're all shitty giant plastic chains. But you have to pretend they're 800 pounds.
Don't worry about it. The big chains.
But anyway, they're like, "What the fuck is this? Why is this guy sitting here?" And then they just like start unloading on him. They have like a million guns. They just start smoking his ass. And then all of a sudden, he's Hokkaider, and
then
he's
you-
like tearing people's heads off.
And then you better not have fucking any sort of epilepsy because you're gonna seize out because it's got that ridiculous
They clearly
strobe.
had. Well, they had no money, so they clearly
No.
they used every like indie movie thing in
Every
the book.
fucking trick in the book.
So like during that like the scene where he's just decapitating.
If you've
all
ever seen
these
Psycho
idiots-
Gorman, I mean, for the love of God, see Psycho Gorman because it's modern. This is like the precursor to Psycho Gorman, except the effects are way worse.
Oh yeah, exactly. They definitely watched this movie and they made Psycho Gorman.
Oh yeah, this is classic.
because it's the exact same thing.
tokusatsu.
Regardless, so then after he's done murdering all these people and giving me like epilepsy, oh my god, the motorcycle.
Yeah,
Yes,
he has the
like
motorcycle.
he doesn't just have a motorcycle; he has an epic hog, like old school Harley style. It's probably a Honda, but it looks like it.
Kawasaki or
It
something,
looks like
yeah.
a Harley, and it's like just chained down with a million chains. Like they like put him in there, chained him down with a leather jacket,
and they
on,
all
then
melt off
chained his
except a
bike
couple
on.
of them.
Yes, they all just melt off.
So his bike
randomly.
can look cool with extra chains.
Oh god, and then he just doesn't like he like
and
breaks.
he's got
the-
an awesome sawed-off pump-action shotgun.
oh, that's a magic shotgun because
Yes.
that does some shit. Son.
Oh, that shotgun has normal shotgun shells, but it is magic. It doesn't really run out of ammo, even though it has ammo, and it just does magical shit like
Like blow the turret off I won't even say a tank.
heat-seeking bullets. That's not a
because
tank, sir.
it's a
that was a
van.
van.
It's like
that was a
van.
motherfucking like.
It's a van with some like PVC shit stuck to the
That was
top.
like the van that they would use to like transport the couple extra kids to school that they didn't want to waste a school bus on.
Oh god,
Except they strapped a really shitty turret on top of
it's
it.
not even an A-team.
So anyway, for some reason he decides he needs to go to Jesus Town and I don't know, kill the guy in charge. Like he just
they
takes
actually
off.
explain that later,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
he just
he's-
like he'll just take off. He does an epic burnout and breaks the chains.
I know.
It's amazing.
That's what he does.
And then
So
he
does it.
ends up at like a checkpoint with a fat Australian guy.
Yeah, so a lot of this was clearly filmed in Australia. It's got a very Mad Max look going on.
Yeah, it really does. It's actually really cool.
Yeah, and so Jesus Town has it's got a couple things going on.
First of all, it's called Jesus Town.
it's called Jesus Town, straight up. It's got a guy in charge with a weird bird skeleton, like a giant, like what would you think that thing is? It's like an osprey or a heron or wherever the hell it is. It's a bird skeleton on his shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he just wants, he wants to everybody to live in peace, and he's going to do it through lobotomies and drugs and whatever else to keep the populace compliant, right? So evil totalitarian dickhead, and he's got a robot of his own, right, to enforce the peace. Mikhail.
Yeah, they
Right.
get into like some Christian allegory here.
They definitely do.
Because Michael's like Archangel style. He's got mad wings.
He's got the one wing on the side. He uses it to cut people. Whatever.
There's
There's a lot of feathers going on.
The
in this.
only thing they spent money on in this entire production was the two like suits. Michael and Hokkaider.
They look great.
The suits are fucking awesome.
Well, they look tokusatsu great. Like, they look great. For mid-90s tokusatsu, they look great.
I think they're great.
Oh, I think they're great. I'm just saying, if you're used to something as good as, like, the Iron Man suit, it's not
come
as good as
on,
that.
like,
exactly.
you know what we're talking about. Like, mid-90s
Hey, man.
tokusatsu, man.
Not everybody's a fine 90s tokusatsu connoisseur.
I am a connoisseur.
I mean, they definitely put more money into them than they put into, like,
Literally
Power
anything
Rangers
else.
in the 90s, right? Like, it's better quality. Anyway, there's also a group of, like, rebels in Jesus Town.
Yeah, they're rebelling against Jesus Town in general.
Yeah, and the general totalitarian bullshit. Like I said, they're
they're both
lobotomizing people. They're doing all sorts of horrible things. They're keeping kids in cages. It's awful.
Not kids in cages.
It's, it's like you're on the southern border. Anyway, so Hakaider shows up, and basically he's almost unstoppable, unkillable, and he just has a reign of terror, basically tearing his way
Goddamn,
through
he
Jesus
killed
Town.
a lot of idiots in Jesus Town.
Yeah. So anyway, I won't get into any more spoilers after that. There's even a Hakaider reference going on later.
Yes, there
with
is.
some pretty cool, even if it's again composited poorly, stop motion animation that they do later. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, the fucking
Reminds me a little
the
bit.
claymation is really good.
It reminds me a little bit of RoboCop 2.
The claymation is actually better than any other effect in the entire movie.
From a technical difficulty standpoint, I agree.
It looks better
100%. Yes.
because I mean, Jesus Christ, like the rest
some
of it
terrible
is like PVC.
And there's some weird allegory shit going on with like the white walls when you break them open, they have like red tubes in them.
Oh yeah, it was weird.
It's
There's some shit going
there's
on.
a lot of shit going on. Anyway, what do you like about Hakaider?
What don't I? This is complicated because I have to do the what I don't like about it. Like I have to
We'll
do
do
the
that first, sure.
but I have to do the what's bad about it with the what's good about it because they're the same thing.
At the same time, they know rules.
Okay, probably some of the worst acting I've ever seen outside of like a high school fucking play. Just awful.
Hey, Hakaider's great because he didn't fucking say anything.
But what's good
He
is
has one facial
the
expression. entire
guy,
time.
yes, the guy that plays Hakaider when he's not in his suit is like he has the greatest like deadpan facial expression. He'll just like look up like, huh.
He's also the manliest man.
The manliest man except when Kaoru, like the main character chick, was standing right next to him. I think he was a little bit shorter, which is hilarious.
I didn't say he was giant. This is Japan, sir. No
I know
offense,
he's a
Japan,
manly
sorry.
man, but I just thought that was funny that they didn't even bother like
Making him look bigger.
filming
and she's tiny.
it so like he looked taller.
They didn't have time for that.
Regardless,
Whoever's in the suit is definitely. I'm pretty sure it's not the same guy because the guy in the suit is definitely beefier.
the suit might make him look beefy.
It's possible, but
Either
I
way.
don't know. I'm not so sure. But anyway,
Regardless,
doesn't matter.
Special effects budget like $1. Some of the crappiest like just backyard done special effects I've ever seen. Literally, a guy gets his arm blown off. They tape it up and
It's
stick a
weird.
sparkler in the end.
It's weird because there's occasionally really good, clever special effects where you're like, that's pretty good.
Some are good, like
That's pretty neat. But some of it is like just terrible.
no, but when he's riding up to Jesus Town, they're shooting at him, and he gets the like bullet in his head.
Yes.
and he doesn't even stop. That's like a really good special effect because it like glows and shit.
there's
they
some
just-
stuff that's really good and something
They
that's really
spend
bad.
their money in weird places.
It's just
That's all I'm
strange. It's
saying.
not very consistent at all. It's like watching Black Panther.
yeah,
When you get to that scene where he's fighting Killmonger at the end, you're like, who? What? How is this allowed in a Marvel movie?
or any fucking DC movie, like God.
Yeah, right.
Like
Whenever
zero
you get to the
special
end,
effects
you're
budget.
like, what happened?
Regardless, but both those things are what makes it fucking great. Like it is one of the most entertaining things you'll ever watch.
And it's so short.
It's so short
The extended director's cut is an hour and 19 minutes
and
with
not
credits.
and the writing is actually good. Like it's
It's
a
a
nice,
very simple
super
story.
simple, super stock story. I can't say that the dialogue is bad because the translation. Like who the fuck knows? Like, but that doesn't really matter. It's just
really
it's-
doesn't matter.
It's so ridiculous, so over the top, so like satisfyingly entertaining. It's just Hakaider like going to fucking town on these idiots, and the only one who
Punching
even
heads off. He's doing such stuff.
and they do such wacky shit to try to make it look less low budget, which is fucking hilarious. Like Tons of shaky cam.
You mentioned the him going ham on all the soldiers and stuff. I like their costumes. They did a good job with low budget costumes for them.
I couldn't tell if they were supposed to be robots or if they were supposed to be
Yeah,
people.
there's some juicy like head bits
I guess,
when he punches
yeah.
them off. I think the idea is that they get chips inserted in their heads to make them basically not human. So they act like robots,
No,
but
you're
they
right.
they do
You're
have
right.
a juicy
It
core.
makes sense.
But that
yeah.
it's not consistent because sometimes, listen, he shoots heads off and like feathers pop out sometimes. Don't question it. There's symbolism, man. It's deep.
Yeah, right.
There's this whole Black Knight dream
Oh
symbolism.
yeah, Kaoru keeps having this crazy dream that like she's got black wings for some reason, and he's like a crazy like fantasy knight like on a horse. Like, it's wild. I don't know, but it is a solid hour and like whatever 10 minutes.
19.
Hour
With
19.
credits.
Yeah, with credits.
And that's the extended director's cut.
Yeah, so it's a solid hour of entertainment, and I mean you'll never be more entertained. Like, sit back. Like,
As long as you have any sort of love for old tokusatsu stuff, you're going to love it. There's
even
no
if you
reason
don't
to
like
love it.
tokusatsu stuff, go in raw. It's the best when you don't know what you're
Even
expecting.
if you just want to mostly make fun of it, it's entertaining to do that.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's
Because
just
there's ways you can do that,
it's
too.
a hilarious clown show, and it's just so fucking entertaining. Like, I love every second of it.
Besides, don't you want to know what the fate of Jesus Town is?
Yeah, it is.
I know I do.
Grab a beer, light up a joint, do whatever you like to do when you watch movies, but oh my God, you will enjoy it. It's so good. I can't recommend it more highly. And is it streaming somewhere?
It's on Tubi for free.
It's on Tubi for free.
At least in the U.S. It's on Tubi for free right now.
If you don't watch it, you're a fucking maniac asshole.
Yeah, I agree. It's so short and it's so entertaining. Just I can't really add anything to what you said. It is what it is.
That's it, man. If you don't watch it, you're a sucker. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So we'll catch you next week. And remember, children, self-reliance is the only true freedom.
Well, that's all for today, everyone. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into another episode of the Gaijin Animation Appreciation Hour. Please remember to like and subscribe, and may your entertainment be always, well, entertaining.